from within. People saying, "Oh, you talk white now. Why are you trying to talk white? Why are you trying to read these books?
See?
Why are you doing all that shit reading?"
Learn the skill of leadership and putting teams together to be able to execute on your vision. You don't need to know how to sew. You just want to hammer this idea home into that person's mind. Pause. You know?
Whoa, did you forget the snacks again?
First of all, do you know, like, I understand the idea of wanting to do something that you suck at and have that humble effect to get better at it, but bro, you know how long it takes to be like, I'm talking top level at sewing things? If you just want to mishmash and piece things together, that's cool. But like, if you're going to be a creative director, fam, you don't need to know how to sew. You don't need to know how to sew. Being a creative director is about your ideas. Why is man's wasting time trying to learn a skill that he doesn't need to? Just learn the skill of leadership and putting teams together to be able to execute on your vision. You don't need to know how to sew. So I don't even know what's going on right now, but I understand what your son is talking about. This is rubbing me a weird way. Pause. Excuse me? This is hella performative, bro. A lot of the stuff that the man is going to be making is not going to be the stuff that anyone is wearing, bro. The lines, the seams, the attention to the sort of the stitching and everything. He's not going to be the person sewing every single garment. So I don't know what this is. What is this video, dude? I'm just as stressed out as he is. But I'm also not literally hating on that. I'm just telling you that, like, yo, for the most part, it takes time to be able to really do this. Okay, you're showing us the sort of behind the scenes, the struggle making it out of the mud, I get it. But if we're going to take into any consideration his skill sets, first of all, the hood on this thing he's wearing, this Guadalupe fucking hoodie he's got on, it's not even finished. It's not even finished. He should have plied the seams, the ends here, and then sewed it. You know what I mean? Like, bro, come on.
This is break.
So as you guys just saw, this is Cenat messing with a sewing machine that broke. And this whole thing is for him releasing his clothing brand, Vive, I don't even know what it is, or how it's pronounced. But I said, and I quoted this tweet right before, you ever just tweet something before bed, knock out, and I wake up and this thing like turned into a banger, which is surprising. But I said, this is exactly what performative looks like.
Bro,
and performative is one of my...
I just said that, dude. I was like, bro, why are you doing this? You don't need to show us this. Like, Virgil wasn't doing this. Pharrell's not doing this. Pharrell's not sewing anything, dude. And if they are doing it, it's for the love of the game.
My favorite words that has, gotten into the like popular lexicon of the past year. And I want to make a clear distinction between performative and LARP, because LARP is like live action role playing. So LARP is a performance, but performative is not necessarily LARP. And here's the difference. So LARP is like, let's say somebody is dressing up as like a gangster, right? And playing this role. However, they are not that. They're not even close to that. Or another example of LARP is these guys that just hold these guns, like kind of like you see these conservatives and they're like, yeah, we're protecting our whatever country. Meanwhile, man, a drone comes upside your head, it's a wrap. So that's kind of or people that get into like this military training, but they were never in the army or military or anything. Like that's a LARP. Performative is what Cenat is putting on. And I do kind of like performative in what Cenat is doing, because I think it started off authentic. Because first, this is the clip that I'm going to play for you guys right now, is the reading clip.
Honestly, the reason why I started reading was because I didn't like the way I spoke. To be honest, I wanted to articulate myself better, and I noticed when I got into arguments and I had to get a point across, people were not taking me serious at all at serious moments, and I would have anxiety build up, and I would start over my words and I not know what happened. So hopefully me reading, and I also have been writing as well, helps improve the way I articulate myself. Also, another reason why I want to read more, because I feel like as I am making my venture into clothing, I feel like when people have to ask me questions about the garments that I end up releasing, I should be able to articulate myself perfectly and explain what is going on and my thought process behind each garment and the inspiration. So yeah, that's really why. I don't know if it's going to work. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
So here, I think this was true for Cenat, and I do think this is why he started reading. And this is also something that Aiden Ross suffered from, not the lack of reading, but being taken seriously for different reasons. Like a lot of the time,
there's nothing wrong with reading. Reading and writing it's not bad. It's important to be able to articulate yourself in a manner that makes sense. You have to be able to have the proper vernacular to be able to explain whatever it is that you're doing, whatever medium you're in. Each medium has a specific jargon in which people speak. a specific vernacular. You understand? I get like a lot of times coming up, like I got in a lot, like people give me a lot of flack for being able to speak well. You know what I mean? I come from a place where there's not a lot of colored people, so whenever anybody that of like color is there, they expect you to sort of behave like you're some sort of BET avatar. And I was never somebody to move around like that. I was always somebody who I can speak well, I can articulate my ideas properly, and sometimes too much to the point where I just want to hammer this idea home into that person's mind. Pause, you know what I mean? But you have to be able to speak the way you have to speak it in any sort of corporate setting. There's always a different sort of way you maneuver. Obviously, you can sort of chameleon, and when you're with the homies, you speak a certain way, but when you're amongst the white people, well, unfortunately, you gotta speak just like them so they can understand you.
If you guys recall several years ago when Aiden Ross would get upset, even now, if he gets angry, people can't tell, and they don't take him seriously when he's angry, which I think has caused Aiden Ross some frustrations. But Aiden Ross is just so powerful now that he can make stuff happen. And Sneeko would react to Cenat reading in this clip, and this is where I'm starting to talk about this being performative.
I love this, man. I love Cenat. I love this because he was getting a backlash. We talked about this book a couple weeks ago before we found this video. Not only did he not respond because he didn't care because he was really doing it for himself, but they were calling it performative. They were saying he was doing this for approval. They were saying that this is all a grift and it was a lie. He is trying to elevate himself. He's trying to ascend. And you can see here, that has nothing to do with performance. He was doing this to try to be better for the right reasons. And specifically, people were going to get upset. The pushback was from the black community, saying it's performative, saying he's trying to get acceptance. Black people were...
Correct. This is also what I was saying, bro. Like the people that not... Sure, white people can say, oh, I'm whitewashed because I can speak properly. But the people that I have found in my life in general, the people that I found that give me the most amount of pushback is black people. I don't dress like them. I don't like to sort of behave like them. I don't like to speak necessarily like them. You know what I mean? Like I'm more than ever, I've accepted that I'm a nerd. But then sometimes I like to be like, oh, I'm a street nigga. But I don't know about that life. I never came from the streets. I don't know what it's like to come up like that. I'm a middle class suburban dude. I ain't never lived a life like that. So the way I like to speak and the way I like to do things, a lot of black people will be like, oh, you ain't like us. You don't speak like us. It's like, bro, how is it performative to want to learn and to ascend and to get out of this situation of speaking Ebonics? But this is what I'm saying. Crab in the bucket situation, bro. They don't want you to be able to do things better than them. You have to be able to stay at this level, and that is ridiculous.
Saying, oh man, look at him. Why don't you wear this shit? Obviously, Rakai's not representative of the whole black community, but a lot of people in the black community were saying, look at him trying to tear down. And I think that shows a real problem in the black community that people do not address. A lot of the problems,
This is the thing that is a problem in the black community is that their power has been taken away from them. They believe that if you're trying to be smart, if you're trying to be educated and whatever the case might be, they believe that, oh, you're trying to be better than us. How am I trying to be? Yeah, I mean, the idea of being a dumb African American has been so implemented into the society that they don't even understand that there's like a societal cap on them that society has put on them. Let's keep them at this low level. Let's poach their talented people and use them for our own entertainment. But they're just always going to stay like this. And it's not even something where we have to reinforce. We'll just we'll implement it into the system, into the society, and they will fight amongst themselves and they will keep themselves at this low level because they will deem it then as cool. I'm telling you, bro, you really got to think about the mind game.
What's preventing from ascending is from within. People saying, oh, you talk white now. Why are you trying to talk white? Why are you trying to read these books?
See?
Why are you doing all that shit? Read it.
The idea of speaking properly, now you're white.
Go to the club. Go to the club. It's not encouraged. It's not encouraged because they tear you down and say you're not part of the culture anymore. So for him to ignore that and speak properly, even though people are going to say he's speaking white, it shows a real sense of wanting to improve. And I love to see that. It's going to inspire a lot of people.
So here, yeah, there's documenting, but there's also like, dog, are you really going to be stuttering and looking up words on a video? What are we doing here? And the discovery of this channel, Kai's Mind, is the performance. So, oh, dude, did you guys know that Cenat, he's been secretly recording and uploading vlogs on this second channel that nobody knows about? And somehow every single page posts about it on the same day. I'll tell you what happened. One of the people on Cenat's team, they said, oh, yo, this is Kai's channel. One page posts it. Everyone else posts it because he's just such a famous figure. And then it spreads and people are like, oh, damn, dude, he's been, in the cut working on this thing. Meanwhile, it's part of the rollout. The rollout and the performance is like, hey, guys, this is what I'm doing. And he's trying to, it's not force it.
First of all, the page is verified also. Let's not underrate that.
And I do think it's a little bit of, there's some genius to it because it's a mix of actual improvements that he's making, but also tied into a script. So it's like loosely scripted. I wouldn't necessarily call it improv, but the fact that he's sewing is really what irritated me. Like, there's another clip that I'm gonna play for you guys where he's just walking into some fashion show. So here, I was looking at this like, yo, this feels like the fashion version of Dochi, and a bunch of people didn't get what I meant, and frankly, I don't really care. Like, this ended up banging on X, and I'm not gonna sit there and explain myself to random.
Listen, I think when it really comes down to it, I think you can go ahead and you can do something where you're just doing it. I don't have a problem with the rollout. If he wanted to have his little secret channel where he's doing vlogs and it's like this sort of undercover thing, but then now the channel has over 500,000 subscribers on it, and it has the check mark, so it's not really hidden. But you know what I mean? It's not really hidden like that, but it's still part of the what seems to be a secret thing I'm doing. Look at me doing my thing. I have no problem with him doing his thing. Do your thing. Ascend, increase your vocabulary, become a better individual. You know what I mean? A lot of people are gonna hate on it, but I think trying to have every sort of moment sort of, oh, this is me doing it, and then it needs to be part of a news cycle. I think that's just the attachment of the name, but I think if you're really gonna do something like this, you just do it. If you look at how Virgil just did the fashion stuff, they just did it. Ye, when he's doing the fashion stuff, he just did it. It wasn't until, especially when he was trying to learn how to do it, it wasn't something that was under a microscope. It's only after when he came out with the full Yeezy season collection, season 1, then it sort of had this sort of presentation to it and this sort of like, you know, the camera aspect. But when he was trying to learn how to really maneuver the fashion world, that wasn't on blast like that. He just was like, I'm gonna do this low key until I actually get good at it. Then I can sort of have the cameras around to sort of show the whole process. But I'm not hating on Kai, bro. I think as anybody entering into any sort of new medium, you gotta humble yourself, and it's good to show the process because as fans, we enjoy that. We enjoy it.